we continue our work. This time we are going to reverse the order. Alright, we are going to shift from passive form to the active. So, let us say the headache becomes slightly lesser because you have already been given a passive form, so you know it is correct most of the time. So, we are putting the rules in reverse order. You have the sentence in passive voice here. Aeroplanes are flown by pilots. What about the verb here in the sentence? What about the verb in the sentence? Full verb. Are flown. The full verb has to be taken into consideration because only then will you get your conversion right. Now, you don't have to bother about flown because flown gives you an idea about the verb that you will have to use. Flown is the past participle form of the verb fly. So, you know you have to choose fly and convert it into the tense that is contained in the be form. Okay, what is the be form that we have right here? Are, which is am, are, is the, those are the present tense forms. So, obviously you know we will be transposing the subject and the object. So, transpose the subject and the object. So, we have the sentence starting with pilots and the sentence ending at aeroplanes. Identify the main verb, which we have already done, which is flown, and it has to be converted into some appropriate form of fly, taking into consideration the tense form of be. So, identify the auxiliary, that is supporting verb, which is are, right. So, now you know the tense. Identify the tense of the auxiliary verb, we know it is the simple present, and convert the main verb into that tense. Just ensure that there is subject verb agreement. For plural subject, ensure that your verb is plural. So, your answer will be pilots flown will become fly. That will be your answer. Pilots fly aeroplanes. The tense is in perfect sync with the tense of the passive voice is in perfect sync with the tense of the active. Okay, look at this one. Joker is expected to win the Oscar this year. Has the subject been given there? Has a subject been given in that sentence? Joker is expected. Which is a verb there? Is expected. So, who is the subject? Someone. Someone is a subject. Okay, because it is not specified. It is not worth specifying. Okay, the focus is on Joker and Oscar and this year. Alright, so what will be your answer? Just check the verb and the tense, that is the present, right. We expect Joker to win the Oscar this year. Got it? We expect Joker to win Oscar. Is the tense correct? Yes or no? Is it correct? Yes. Again, you just have to tune your brain to do that kind of an automatic conversion from the passive to the active. Just cross check with the tense rules. That is all that you need to do. Alright. Look at the next sentence. The road is being repaired by the PWD. This is a very straightforward sentence. You have a subject, you have an object, all there displayed on the sentence. What about the subject of the sentence? The PWD. Alright. And what is the object? The road. So, you swap the positions. And is being is the indicator of the time. Is being is what? What continuous? Present continuous. So, your answer will be the PWD is repairing the road. You got that just like that, didn't you? And you just cross checked with the tense. That is all. The PWD is repairing the road. This is how you do the conversion. I've not been very exhaustive with passive to active conversion because I imagine that you will be able to do the conversion because we went through the rules of active to passive in a very comprehensive fashion. One more and we'll call it quits. Terrible floods were witnessed by Kerala in 2018. So, the auxiliary verb is were, alright. The main verb is witnessed. Witnessed is the past participle form. So, we will have to convert witness into a tense form that will agree with were, and that is past. So, your answer? Kerala? Good. Kerala witnessed terrible floods in 2018. Simple, isn't it? Very simple. Yes. Okay, choose the right answer. I give you a couple of exercises and yes. Internet services to Jammu and Kashmir have been disconnected by the authorities. So, the doer of the action? The authorities. That is the subject. Okay? And the object? Yes, internet services to Jammu and Kashmir. What about the tense form? Have been disconnected. What is the main verb? What is the main verb? Disconnect. Verb, the tense? Have been. Present? Perfect. So, your answer? C. The authorities have disconnected. Have is what? Present. Disconnected, past. Present past is present perfect. Does it match with the tense in the active? Sorry, passive? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. It is hoped that India will not be attacked by the coronavirus. It is hoped. That is a present. Okay. So, look at that. We are hoping will be wrong obviously. Yes, because there is no continuous form in the passive. So, what is your answer? So, that is how you do the elimination rounds and you immediately come to the answer B. We hope that coronavirus will not attack India. Clear? Yes. So, can we say that we are done with active to passive and passive to active? Yes. All right. Now, I will take you to Concord. Yes. Concord is subject verb agreement, something that is very, very simple and something that you have already learnt in your school and college days. I am just going to quickly take you through them, right. So, Concord actually means harmony, and what harmony of, yes. Yeah, won't you speak in full sentences? Of course, you conveyed your message, but it would be better if you spoke in full sentences. I don't know why it has shrunk to. Can you see it properly? You can. All right. All right. Yeah, so it's all a question of subject verb agreement. If it is I, it is to be am in the present. Okay? He, she, it is. Can you see it properly? You can see it well. Yeah? Okay. You, they will be are, it, she, he, it would be was, etc. Now, more interesting things come hereafter. You know what modal auxiliaries are? You know what auxiliaries are, don't you? What are auxiliaries? Helping verbs, subsidiary verbs. What about modal? Now, modals are auxiliary verbs, okay, which contain mood, M-O-O-D. Now, mood is actually a grammatical term which means attitude of the mind. Okay? So, I can convey the attitude of my mind if I choose my modals properly. So, when do I use may? I use may when I seek request. All right. When do I use can? What is the difference between can and may? There is this old joke, while teaching grammar about a little boy, obviously in English speaking world, a little boy goes to his mother and says, "Mom, can I go to the theatre? Can I go to the theatre?" That is a question. So, the mom apparently knows her English well. She said, "Son, you can, but you may not." Did you get it? Can shows ability. All right. So, what did the mother mean by saying, "Son, you can"? You have legs, you have hands, you can walk, you know the route, you know the theatre, you have money with you, you have eyes, you can see the film. You can, you have all the ability and the freedom, but you may not. I have not given you the permission. So, the boy should have actually, instead of irritating his mother with that extremely ungrammatical sentence, he should have rephrased his question and asked his mother, "Mom, may I go to the theatre?" And probably she would have said, "Indeed, son," straight away. So, it pays to know your grammar. Right. So, modals actually convey the spirit of the sentence, the hidden spirit of the sentence, the attitude of the speaker. So, may indicates permission, can indicates ability, shall or should, it all depends on which pronoun you use it with. If I say I shall do it, it means I am giving you a promise, I shall do it. Okay. Suppose you say we'd like to have more grammar classes with you. You will not definitely, but suppose, let us imagine that you say and you say, why don't you come tomorrow here? I say I shall come, it is a promise. Okay. If I say I will come, it shows I am willing. Okay. But if I say you shall come to my class, it means what? You have no other alternative but come. It is an order. You shall come. I shall come is a promise. I will come is willingness. Or I will be coming means just simple futurity. So, all this, you have to use your modals with a lot of care, because if you are speaking to an expert user of the language, you will be conveying ideas that you may not perhaps be intending if you are careless. So, it pays to be a very, very careful speaker. So, pay a lot of attention to modals, but that is just by the way. Well, ought to, dare and must means what? It means it's a solemn duty. You must pay your taxes. You ought to pay your taxes. So, all these modal auxiliaries will take the infinitival form of the verb. You must pay your taxes. What is pay? Infinitive, isn't it? Yeah, so I have given you these examples. I may come tomorrow, right? That shows a probability, but the verb is in the infinitive. She can manage a crisis. Now, the reason why I focus on can and may as I speak to you is because I am teaching you modals. All right? When you speak, don't give importance to auxiliary verbs. She can manage the situation. It is never she can manage the situation. Of course, you can say that if somebody doubts her ability. Suppose you have a 15-year-old son or a daughter in the house taking care of the kitchen, and somebody says, well, can he take care of the kitchen? Of course, he can manage the kitchen. In such a situation, you focus on you give a little bit of word stress on can. But otherwise, when you are speaking a general sentence, always give focus to the main verb rather than the auxiliary. I am talking about the spoken English style, right? Okay, so the reason why I am putting a lot of emphasis on the modals as I talk to you right now is because I am teaching you what modals are. So, don't mistake me, that was my point. So, she can manage. So, manage is the infinitive form. They should perform well. You ought to work hard. To work is to infinitive. Okay, you have added to with the infinitive, it is called to infinitive. It must be tired and all that. So, this is basically what Concord means. Now, this is perhaps more interesting. Just a couple of rules that you have to remember. One of those workers is sincere. We are talking about, there are workers, but we are talking about one. But here, this is not an absolute rule. It all depends on the kind of meaning that you want to convey. He is one of the workers who have been deputed to do this job. Did you get my sentence? He is one of the workers who have been. Have is singular or plural? Plural. I have used one of the workers, but I have used have, plural. What does it mean? All the workers have been deputed to do that job, and he is only one among them. Have you understood? So, you have to choose carefully. If you want to focus on one, then choose a verb that agrees with one, that is singular. If instead your focus is on the plural, choose the plural. Get it? So, one of those workers is sincere, you want to talk about one of them. Look at the next one. There is a tricky pronoun. It's a shapeshifter in the sense that it changes the structure of the verb depending on the number of the subject. So, there are many candidates in this hall because candidates is plural, there is followed by are. When it is singular, there is a crack. A crack is singular, so there is. You know all these things. So, now generally speaking, and indicates plurality of subjects, and when there is and, we generally use the verb plural, are or were, etc. But here we are using this as a singular subject. Idli and sambar, they go together. So, that is one breakfast item. you take it as one item and then you say idli and sambar is wholesome breakfast. Okay. So now what about this sentence? The proprietor and MD is Miss Tanya. The proprietor and MD, they show the same person. So what is the precaution that you have to take there? Don't put the article in front of MD. If you say the MD, it would mean two persons. Okay, so you know it obviously. Alright, the next one again, things that you already know, but things that you have to be careful about. 10 kilos of rice is too heavy to carry. You are taking it as a lump, as a quantity, as one unit, and therefore is singular. But suppose 10 kilos will have to be distributed, obviously it has to be broken up into small segments, packets, and therefore you choose the plural. So everything depends on what you have in your mind. Okay, next one again, a swarm of locusts has appeared in Gujarat. You are talking about the voluminous number, sheer number as one unit. It's a cloud of locusts that has come, so you use the singular. But when they start nibbling at the corn, you are talking about those individual members of the species, and you would say a swarm of locusts are eating the corn. Got it? Next one, things that you should remember: stationery, cutlery, footwear, crockery and all that. You never use the plural. You never say crockeries. You never say cutleries. Okay, you never say sceneries, etc. Now, scissors, trousers, binoculars, spectacles, pans, etc., compasses and all that, which come in pairs. Okay, either you use a pair of, if you use a pair of, use the singular subject, or if you are using them in the plural, use the plural subject. So you can either say a pair of scissors or trousers or binoculars is lying there because the focus is on a pair. So a pair is taken as a single unit. On the other hand, you can say those binoculars are very powerful. Okay, a lot, plenty of, most of, the dust, that all talks about amount and quantity, and therefore you can use the singular. But when the focus is on the number, you use the plural. A lot of, plenty of, most of you are postgraduates because the focus is on the number. Look at the next one: police, vermin, staff, cattle, people, public, always used in the plural. The police are a violent section of people these days. I'm just giving an example. Okay, it's always used in the plural. Never use the singular, even as they come as one force. This is just one of the quirks of English language. You just have to remember that. Okay, similarly, aircraft, deer, luggage, baggage, scenery, every time you use it only in the singular form. Don't say aircrafts, but you can say planes, aeroplanes. Okay, again, idiosyncrasy of the language. There are certain rules that do not seem to follow any kind of a logic. It pays to retain those rules in the mind. So you can say the deer is a shy animal. You can say 3 deer in the zoo are growing tame. But you won't convert deer into deers. You won't convert sheep into sheeps. Okay. Now look at that. You again know the difference between few and a few. All right. Although the meanings are different, did you notice the verb there? Few means what? Practically none. Suppose I were to make a negative comment and say few of you are really interested in grammar, which means if there are 30 or 40 of you, maybe one of you is interested in grammar. In that case, I can say few. All right, meaning practically no one is interested in grammar. So although there is a difference in meaning, there is a huge difference in meaning between few and a few, the verb is the same. So remember the difference. A few meaning substantial number. All right. So few and a few is we talk about the numbers. Look at little and a little, uncountable. Okay. So little is left of the cake, meaning practically nothing of it. A little attention is welcome. Again, look at the verb, it's the same, but the meanings are vastly different. Remember that. Okay. Many of our tourist centers are dirty, number. Much of what he says is foolish, is, much is uncountable, therefore it is singular, considered singular. Many of his conclusions are bizarre. Many indicates number. So much of what he says is singular. Okay, many of his statements are false, that is plural. Okay. Now this is where most of us Indians go wrong. Each, every, either, neither, many are always used in the singular fashion. Always remember that, okay? Each, every, either, neither, always in the singular. There are exceptions, of course, but most of the time it is in the singular. Many actually indicates plural. The meaning is plural, but the usage is singular. Remember that, okay? Many usage is singular, meaning is plural. I'll give you examples. Actually speaking, you live in more interesting times in the sense that rules have become far simpler now. I shall tell you how. Okay, look at this sentence. Either you or he or I am to host the show. Did you notice that verb there? Does am agree with you? You am എപ്പോഴെങ്കിലും നമ്മൾ പറയോ? ഇല്ല. He am പറയോ? ഇല്ല. പക്ഷെ I-ന്റെ ഒപ്പേ നമ്മൾ am പറയുള്ളൂ. But how come we have put am there? How many subjects do we have in that sentence? Grammatically, 3. Okay, but there is only one verb to go with all the 3. So what could be the rule there? That's the rule of proximity. That is, the verb which is closest to the subject, okay, gets affected by that subject and it should agree. So I end up on am e pattullu present tense. So you have it as am. But is there any specific rule that it should be you, he and I? Is there any specific rule? Are you aware of it? You're aware of pronouns, aren't you? Yes or no? Yes. First person pronoun? First person pronoun is I. Second person pronoun? You. Third person pronoun? He, she, it, they. Okay. Any rule that decides the order in which they should be referred? Any rule? What person is you? Second person. What person is he? And what person is I? First person. So what is the order there? 2, 3, 1. Okay. Now it looks rather illogical. It may not be very easy for you to remember 2, 3, 1, but there is a better, more logical, let us say, more civic way of remembering things, or rather there is a civic sense behind it. When I speak to you, okay, who is the most important person in my life as I speak to you? You are the most important person to me. Okay, so I put you first. All right, get the point. How about my importance? I am modest, we ought to be modest, so we should be putting ourselves at the very end. So whoever comes in between will be put in the middle, that is a third person. You get it? So when you speak to someone, that person is important. So second person pronoun is the first mentioned pronoun. You get it? When you talk about yourself, you put yourself at the very, very end because you don't want to give importance to yourself. So then that gives us only one option, putting the third person in the middle. So that explains 2, 3, 1. So when there are pronouns, always follow this order and always remember that the verb that follows the last subject will agree with the number and quality of that subject. Is it clear? All right, because you could get any number of questions depending on the permutation and combinations of all these pronouns. Look at the next one. Either you or he or I have to start the game. You have parayum, he have parayo. Illa. But it is because have has come just after I. That is how you have this grammatical sentence. Clear? Is the order correct? You, he, I. Is the order correct? Yes? Yes. 2, 3, 1. Now look at that. Neither you nor she is to blame. Is the order correct? You and she? Yes. Is the subject verb agreement correct? Concord? Yes. That is all that you need to do. In your examination or even as you speak, just remember this. Right. Now earlier on, when I was a student like you, in neither nor combinations, just a minute back we said each, every, either, neither will always take only a singular verb because they are singular in spirit. Okay. When I was your age, we were taught that if there are two subjects in this either or neither nor combination, if there are two subjects, one subject is singular and the other subject is plural, we were taught that the plural subject has to be put second. The singular subject has to be put first, and therefore the verb will agree with the second subject obviously. But now there is no such rule. That's why I said things are simpler for you. You can put it in any order that you please, singular and plural. You can put it in just the manner you please. Just ensure that the verb agrees with the subject closest to it. Alright, so you can have a plural subject in the beginning or plural subject at the end. Just ensure that your verb agrees with the subject and you have produced a good grammatical sentence. That explains why you have neither you nor your friends are welcome. That are is legitimate because friends is in the plural. Neither your parents nor your brother is visible. Is legitimate because it comes immediately after brother, although it's a singular subject that comes second. So you can put it in any order, just ensure there is concord, there is harmony, subject verb agreement. Okay, now none is a very comfortable word in the sense that sometimes it takes plural, sometimes it takes singular. It all depends on the meaning that you wish to convey. So none of them is dishonest, none of the professional doctors I know are greedy. That's clear, isn't it? None can be used in a singular or in a plural form. Now, many indicates plural, okay, in meaning, but in usage it is always singular. Always remember that. Okay. Have you read this line? Many a flower is born to blush unseen and waste its sweetness in the desert air. No, forget it. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now, this one you may please try to remember as well as, okay, rather than, more than, along with, accompanied by, in the company of. If you are using these conjunctions, okay, the first subject is important. The number of the first subject is important. I know the logic under. You know what the logic is? We are talking about she is sincere. Along with her colleagues, as well as her colleagues, that becomes just incidental. The focus of the sentence is she. So when the first subject is plural, just ensure that your verb is also plural. If you are going for conjunctions like as well as, more than, along with, in the company of, etc. So just remember these conjunctions, won't you? Okay, that's why I have used, sometimes I've used the plural and sometimes I've used the present just to show you that it can be used interchangeably, but just ensure that the verb agrees with the number of the subject. Is it clear? Any doubts? Now, this is something that requires no teaching the way we did active and passive. These are things that you have to simply retain in mind. So, my role is actually speaking minimal. All I can do is just put up these things and try to show you what kind of logic works behind them. Now, I am going to take you through certain exercises. Right, just remember these rules. Again, go by your gut feeling and then check with the rules that we have gone through. Okay. The cost of onions have finally come down. Pick the correct answer. The cost of onions have finally come down. The cost of onions has finally come down. The cost of onions is finally come down. None of the above. A, B, C or D? Pardon? B, right. Now suppose I want you to use the verb is, right? How are you going to change that sentence in order to make it grammatical? How are you going to convert C into a correct sentence if I put the stipulation that you use the verb is? Make it grammatical, but use the verb is. Try. Just is. Don't supply any other verb. Just is. You know it. Just don't be shy. Don't be inhibited. The cost of onions is. Don't supply any other verb. I want is as the main verb. No, I said is as a main verb. When you say coming, come is the main verb. See that? And you're making it is coming down present perfect. I'm telling you, make it. Pardon? Wonderful. The price of onions is down. Yes. Okay. Okay, the next one. His speech on current affairs were impressive. His speech on current affairs are impressive. His speech on current affairs was impressive. None of the above. Pardon? C. Now this is called the error of proximity. Proximity means what? Proximity, closeness. So it looks like current affairs looks plural. It is indeed plural. But the focus is not on current affairs but rather on the speech. Just keep that in your mind as you answer the questions, because all of us are prone to this error of proximity, especially when we weave very complicated and longish sentences. All right, even as you, not just when you take your examinations, but even as you go into written compositions just like that, remember that all of us are prone to the error of proximity. Always cross check that that you know your subject and you know that your verb is in perfect sync with the subject. All right. Now, look at this. He and you are supposed to lead the group. I and you has been selected for the district level competition. You and your boss make an excellent team. None of the above. Pardon? Which is the right answer? C. Indeed, C is right. Now, I am not going to let you off so easily. You have to tell me what's wrong with A. He and you are supposed to lead the group. What is he? Third person pronoun. What is you? Second person pronoun. So what has gone wrong there? The order has gone wrong. So we put that right, okay? You and he are supposed to lead the team. All right. So if it had been that, the sentence would have been correct. Now what about B? What's wrong with that? I and you has been selected for the district level competition. Again, it's a question of order. What has to be put first? You, and I has to be put at the very end. So you and I have been selected. I have na bariya. So you and I have been selected for the district level competitions. Right. So it's not just enough that you know that you're right. You should know why you are right, because only then will you know why certain sentences are wrong. Okay, look at this one. Neither Iran nor America is backing down. Either you or your neighbor have dumped garbage here. With global connectivity, every infection have become a pandemic. None of the above. Very simple. The answer is? Louder please. A. Why have you all become so listless? Please speak up. Okay, so A is the right answer. Neither Iran nor America. It is singular. Neither nor singular. Subjects are singular. Therefore, the verb is. What is wrong with the second sentence? Either you or your neighbor have dumped. Again, it's a question of order. All right. So either. What would be the correct answer? Either your neighbor or you have. Okay. So the verb is right. You have to swap the subjects. What about the third one? What's wrong with the third sentence? With global connectivity, every infection have become a pandemic. How will you make it correct? Has. Why? Every conveys singular meaning. Fine. All right. The last date for receiving applications have been extended. Mr. A is the owner and the manager of this company. Many a monument in our districts are protected by the ASI. None of the above. Why are you taking this long? Pardon? Come on. I look hopefully at students who are coming up with some answer. A, B, C or D? I hear A, I hear B, I hear C, I hear. Anyone for D? Anyone for D? How many? Raise your hands for D. Only one. Good. Because all the sentences are wrong. Okay, I mean you could have these options in your exam, that's what I am trying to tell you. They look apparently okay, each of those sentences looks okay, but each one will have a tiny small problem there. What's wrong with the first one? The last date for receiving applications has been extended. Why? The subject of the sentence is the last date. The last date has been extended. So that is wrong. Yes? So how many people said A? No one's lifting their hands. Fine. So Mr. A is the owner and the manager of this company. It's Mr. A, one individual. Alright? Whereas, look at the description. The owner and the manager would indicate two people. So obviously that sentence is wrong. So how many said B? Honest gentlemen. Congrats. Okay. Many a monument in our districts are protected by the ASI. It is singular in usage but plural in spirit. So singular in usage. Many a monument in our districts is protected by. So those of you who supported C, you should know that that was wrong. So obviously the answer has to be D. You do get these kind of questions in your examinations. You know, none of these is sometimes the correct answer. All right. Again, this is very, very simple. The luggages were carried by the porter. Is it right? The luggages were carried by the porter. Is it correct? It is not correct. Why so? Yeah, we don't say luggages, but suppose we need to focus on plural. How would you recast that sentence? Many pieces of luggage or many items of luggage were carried by the porter, or it should be luggage was carried by the porter. Okay, 5 aircrafts flew in a beautiful formation. 5 aircraft. But if you have a flair for plural, if you believe that plural has to be put, you will have to change aircraft into, yes, aeroplanes or planes. The sheep are docile animals. The sheep are docile animals. Okay. But if you use is, the sheep is a docile animal or a sheep is docile. Always remember that there are multiple options for correct answers. On hearing the fire alarm, the audience was seen to exit through the 4 doors. Is it right or wrong? On hearing the alarm, the audience were seen to exit through 4 doors. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Right. Why is it right? Pardon? Why are you right? The audience, generally speaking, is seen as one unit, but only if they behave as one unit. All right. My audience here is attentive. Why so? Because I presume all of you are attentive. I'm using you as one lump, one group. Okay, there is no shade of a difference among any of you. I see you as one unit. So the audience is attentive. But if there are 2 or 3 exit doors, okay, and at the stroke of a bell, all of you disperse in different directions and take different routes, you are no longer one unit, you are separate. That is the reason why we have used the plural verb there. So what is the correct answer? Okay, what about this one? Each and every item in the packets were closely inspected. Is it right? You have to make the verb is. Each and every. Okay, that is singular. So each and every item in the packets was closely inspected. The studio along with its installations are insured. Is it right or wrong? It's wrong. The studio along with all its installations, along with the focus is on the number of the first subject, and the number of the first subject is singular, and therefore it is. Yes, the sceneries of Munnar are world famous. Scenery. Crime and Punishment makes depressing reading. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Right. Why are you right? Crime and Punishment. Suppose it were Great Expectations. Great Expectations is a good novel or are a good novel? Is a good novel. Because it is a novel, it's just that the title is Great Expectations. Plural aanu kaanan engilum, it refers to a book. It is the title of a book. So just remember that. Now I'm going to give you fill in the blanks kind of option. So the panel of judges dash unanimous in selecting him. Panel no aremba, again you can take it as singular, or if the members of the panel differ on their decision or in their decision, what will you do? you will choose the plural verb. Here the word unanimous seems to tell you that they worked as one body, one unit, and therefore your answer will be was. Nadal's journey through this year's Australian Open Championships dash over. Is over or over? Is over. Why? Nadal's journey, not Australian Open Championships. Nadal's journey is over. Error of proximity should not come. Okay, doing exercises dash our health. Improve, improves. Louder. Improves. Why? Doing exercises. Okay. The Israel-Palestine standoff ought to be, ought to end. Ought to is always followed by infinitive form. Suppose I remove ought to. Which one would you opt for? The Israel-Palestine standoff ends. Okay. Of course, the meaning would be different, but nonetheless. So we have come to the end of Concord. Have you had enough? I can see from your expressions you've had enough. Okay. I'll take you to the third component that I need to do with you, reported speech. Again, I'm sure you're all very familiar with it. I was told that I have to use this 3-hour capsule to the maximum because your time is precious, so is mine. So I'll take you through all the details of reported speech. Again, continue Chiyama. Don't be overwhelmed by the number of rules that I quote. I need to quote these rules because I happen to be a teacher, that is all. But I'm sure you have internalized all those rules. You just, as we did with the active-passive conversion and passive-active conversion, these rules help. So just keep them in the back of your mind just to ensure that you get all your answers right. So you are not accidentally right, you are consciously right all the time. And being consciously right all the time really boosts your confidence. So that's the only purpose behind giving you all those rules. So I'll start with okay, what will be your answer to that? He said, I'm ready now. Now, what is direct speech? All that takes place in live conversation is direct speech. Okay, and in we follow typographical conventions by putting them within inverted commas. Okay, within inverted commas. Now, the moment this live conversation gets over and you talk about this live conversation to someone else. So, this is over and you are talking about it. So, time has elapsed. Samyam, either past aayittundu. Ee live conversation past aayittundu. You understand? So, when we convert a an instance of direct speech to indirect speech, automatically the past component has to come in virtually every sentence. Alright. So, you remove all those typographical conventions, question marks, exclamation marks, inverted commas, all that will be removed. You will insert a conjunction, but these days we don't insert that conjunction. I'll tell you how. And we just again, as I said earlier, just go by your gut feeling, right? So, go by your gut feeling and convert this into indirect speech. He said, I'm ready now will become in reported speech, or in indirect speech will become he said that he was ready then. Okay. This mouse doesn't seem to be working. Okay, I'll revert to. He said he was ready then. Now, this conjunction that, he said that he was. Now, you may retain it in your answers, okay? When you do grammar, you may retain it in your answers. But remember that in conversational English, and most of the time in written English these days, modern times, we do away with unnecessary words. We don't need that. Even without that, the meaning is very, very clear. So, why do we need redundant words? Avishulya anda words kutti ketanda avishulya. You understand? So, we actually speaking, we do away with unnecessary words. ഞാൻ പിന്നെ ഗ്രാമർ പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നതുകൊണ്ട് മാത്രം I say that it is legitimate to have that. Generally speaking, in our conversations, we do away with these words. Okay. Suppose I give you the next sentence. She told me, okay, and I am doing the reporting, mind you, okay. She told me, if you sing for me, I will pay you tomorrow. Your answer will be, she told me, okay, that. If I sang for her, she would pay me the next day. She would pay me the next day. You've got it right. I didn't get a chorus reply. I wanted a chorus answer, but I assume everybody knows it. Yes? In your mind, you said this answer? In your mind, you said that this is the answer? Yes or no? Yes? I'll tell you that if this was the answer that you got, you were following certain rules. Forget about writing down the sentence. Just look at these rules. You have already followed these rules. I'm just itemizing them. I'm just making a list for you to remember. Remove the inverted commas. Haven't we done that? Yes. We have removed inverted commas. We have removed the commas. We have removed the exclamation, question marks, all those typographical conventions. And then, if necessary, we insert an appropriate introductory verb or a reporting verb. It could be exclaimed, ordered, pleaded, requested and all that. I shall take you through all those fine distinctions in a while. Alright, so we have the provision to add that, because much of the drama, much of the emotion in direct speech is lost if you choose the wrong introductory verb. Suppose one person looks at your face and says, "You are so stupid." Okay, you are so stupid. Somebody tells you that straight to your face. That person doesn't mean it as a statement. Does he or she do that? I mean, there's a lot of emotion that goes into it. There's a lot of condemnation. There is a lot of horror, let us say. Yes? So, if I say, she said that I was stupid, does it convey that drama element? Does it convey the drama element? Does it convey the meaning completely? No. In order to do that, we need to choose the most appropriate introductory verb, and that is where you show your skill, when you convert direct into indirect. You were right in converting all the tenses, you converted all the tenses into their corresponding past tense forms. You were right there. But here what you need to focus on is the kind of introductory verb that you have to choose, so that you retain the punch of the direct speech and convey the full meaning. Okay, add the conjunction that if it is necessary at all. Okay. So, these are the one set of rules that you have followed. Another set of rules that you have followed is, see, every bit of tense is converted into their corresponding past form. If it is simple present, you convert it into simple past. Present continuous to past continuous. Present perfect to, past perfect. Present perfect continuous to past perfect continuous. Simple past to past perfect. It's next past form. And past perfect, past continuous to past perfect. You just shift it into the next past form. What is the logic? As I said earlier, you convert this live conversation into a report, and that is done after the time lapse. Okay, so that's the only logic. And then there are certain exceptions too. When there is a time clause, you won't apply these rules. See, when I was a little boy, I played a lot of pranks. When I was a little boy, other time indicator on. Okay, so we generally don't convert. Normally, if we say past, simple past is converted into past perfect. Its corresponding past form. Okay, in this case, he was the had been akilya, because it is a adverb of time. So just remember that one rule. He said that when he was a little boy, he played a lot of pranks. That is all. So, when there is a time clause, don't within the direct speech, that is, okay, don't convert the past into the past perfect. That is one exception. The other exception is when a historical or scientific truth is uttered. India gained independence in 1947. Nammal perfect grammar rules apply that had gained independence. We just say the teacher said that India gained independence in 1947. Okay, so these are the exceptions. And then there is one more that you need to remember. Introductory verb, he said, she said. You will look at the crucial difference. He says എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. So even as you repeat it, you have to maintain that. So your answer will be, he says he will ask his parents. Have you got it? When the introductory verb, that is before the quotation marks, when that introductory verb is in the present, we retain that present. അതുപോലെ ഇത് what is has said? What tense is it? Has said? Has എന്താണ്? Present. Said? Perfect. Present perfect. This is present perfect tense. When it is in the present perfect also, you retain it. She has said that the film starts at 11 a.m. So these are the exceptions that you have to remember. The man will claim, future, the man will claim that he is innocent. Got it? Did you get all the exceptions? When there is a time indicator, okay, adverb of time ഉള്ളപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് we don't change it at all. പിന്നെയോ historic or universal truth വരുമ്പോഴും നമ്മൾ we don't make the conversion within the direct speech. പിന്നെ when the introductory verb is in the present or present perfect or it indicates future, you retain the same structure. These are the exceptions that you have to remember. Otherwise, all these rules apply. In fact, I don't want to go into the details because they look rather awkward. You have already done it. When somebody talks to you and you do the reporting, you എന്നുള്ളതെല്ലാം me എന്നുള്ളതാവും. So you got the answer right, so I'm not going to take you through the nitty-gritty of these rules. Okay, now this is also one set of rules that you remember to do. Every item of information that in terms of space and in terms of time which is near is converted into far. So come will become go depending on the context. Now will become then. Time in the nearness ne far akana. Now will become then. This will become that. These will become those. You know all these already. Here will become there. Ago will become before. Thus will become so. Today will become that day. Tomorrow will become the next day. Yesterday will become the previous day. Last night will become the previous night. The day after tomorrow will become a day later. Okay, so just remember this. അതായത് ടൈമിനെയും സ്പേസിനെയും നമ്മൾ ഷിഫ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യണം ഫ്രം ക്ലോസ്നെസ് ടു a distance. Okay, let me give you some examples. The writer said to her audience, I feel honored to be in your midst this evening. Okay, direct speech ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ എല്ലാ പ്രസൻറ്റിനെയും അതിൻ്റെ കറസ്പോണ്ടിങ് പാസ്റ്റ് ആക്കണം. All right. So the writer told her audience that I feel honored എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. Present ആണ്. That she felt honored to be in their midst that evening. Report ചെയ്യാണ്, നടന്ന സംഭവത്തിനെ റിപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യാണ്. So there is this distancing in terms of space and in terms of time. Did you have this in your mind? You did. So it's simple. Suppose I give you another one. ഇവിടെ come ആണ്. Come go എന്ന് ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നല്ലോ. In certain circumstances. Suppose I am doing the talking. Okay. And I invite you home, that come cannot become go. If I am inviting you to come to my house and I report it, can I convert come to go? That is ridiculous. So I said to my friend, if you come home, I'll serve you dinner. ഇവിടെ come നെ go ആക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. Obviously, for the most obvious logical reason. So your answer will be, I told my friend that if she came home, I would serve her dinner. അവിടെ come തന്നെയായിട്ട് ഇരിക്കും. When the talking is done to me and I do the reporting. If instead, look at this, my uncle said to me, come with me to inspect the building. The uncle has used come, all right, but not to my house, but to some other place. So that come will become go. So my uncle asked me to go with him to inspect the building. So I know that you know all these things. It's just a kind of a reminder. I'm just taking you through all the examples. Okay, now questions. What is your name? She asked me what my name was. Word order maru. What his name was. So there is a change in the word order. Okay, my name is so and so. നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെൻറ്റിൽ പറയും. പക്ഷേ നമ്മൾ വേർഡ് ഓർഡർ മാറ്റും. വാട്ട് ഈസ് യുവർ നെയിം എന്നാണ് നമ്മൾ ചോദ്യം ചോദിക്കുമ്പോൾ വരുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ സെയിം പ്രിൻസിപ്പിൾ ദാറ്റ് വി ഫോളോ ഇൻ റിപ്പോർട്ടഡ് സ്പീച്ച്. നോട്ട് ദാറ്റ് ദ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ മാർക്ക് ഹാസ് ബീൻ റിമൂവ്ഡ്. ഓക്കെ, Okay, now look at this one. He said, may I use the washroom? He said, ellam said vechittannu njan idan povunna. All most of the examples that I give you, you will have to use your intelligence. May I use the washroom? You know modal auxiliaries, don't you? Say yes. We just did that a minute back. Yes. So what about may? What does may convey? Expression of, yeah, request. So there is a kind of a humble attitude. All right. Yes. So your answer will be വളരെ grammatical ആയിട്ട് വേണമെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ he enquired if അല്ലെങ്കിൽ whether he might or he could use the washroom. If you give me this answer, I'll have to grant that you have given me the right answer, because you have followed all the grammatical rules to a T. എല്ലാം exact ആയിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളത്. All right, but that would be an extremely grammatical answer. Okay, this would be a more casual and better answer. He sought permission to use the washroom. Which looks better? The second looks better, doesn't it? The first one is not wrong. It has followed all the rules. That's why I said, let us understand the rules. Okay, but sometimes when we follow all the rules to a T, it might make the sentence rather clumsy. There are more informal, there are better ways of conveying the same meaning. Clear? So that's why I said you have to pay attention to the modal auxiliary and therefore convert that mere very neutral sounding said into sought permission. Hereafter, pay a lot of attention to this verb said, okay, and make your right choice. Okay, now let us come to commands, requests and invitations. She said to me, look at that, the verb there is said. Stop talking. Yes, your answer should be, she ordered me to stop talking. That exclamation mark and the general tone of that sentence you should be able to internalize and use the correct introductory verb. She ordered me to stop talking. Okay. He said to the resource person, please speak a little louder. Requested the resource person to speak a little louder. So that is very crucial in your answer, okay, the introductory verb, because that shows that you have understood the spirit of the direct speech. So it shows your command over, your mastery over the language. You can understand the nuances of the language. Okay, my host said, let's go to the garden and have a cup of coffee. My host said, that itself should give you an idea. My host said, let's go to the garden and have a cup of coffee. Did you think of this? Was this the answer that you had in your mind? Yes. My host invited me to a cup of coffee in the garden. So technically speaking, we are not converting every sentence as per the rule, but we have conveyed the meaning in very modern idiom, in very modern stylish English, so to say. Okay, greetings and wishes. Now this can be slightly tricky. She said to me, look at all my verbs, it's always said. Okay, the tone of the direct speech is always different. You have to understand that. She said to me, God bless you, my child, may you live long. She? Okay, you have had a second thought. She first said she greeted me. Where is the greeting, kiddo? There is no greeting at all. Yeah. Yeah, she blessed me and wished me long life. Angana pore. Doesn't that look better than she wished I would live long and all that? This is much better. Look at this one. He said, hooray, Djokovic has won. Exclaimed? Pardon? Louder. Exclaimed? I'm waiting for the most operative part of your answer and now you're stubbornly silent. That's what I'm listening, I'm cocking my ears to listen to. Tell me. Exclamation can indicate any kind of meaning. Suppose I'm not a Djokovic fan. Of course, hooray shows that I'm a Djokovic fan. But your exclaimed does not convey that you are really happy. Yes. He shouted in delight or exclaimed in delight. over Djokovic's victory. That's better. Rather than say that he exclaimed, he hooted with joy and said that Djokovic has won. That would be grammatically correct. Of course, yes. And if in your options you have that, okay, tick that, because maybe that would fetch you marks. But in your conversational English, perhaps this would be the better choice. Always make that kind of a distinction, won't you? I mean, what is grammatically right and what is more, which has gained more currency in ordinary usage. Okay, he shouted in delight and said that Djokovic has won. I would personally prefer the first one. My daughter said, how I wish I had brown eyes. How I wish I had brown eyes. It shows, that intensity of the longing, doesn't it? My daughter, sorry, my mistake, okay? My daughter ardently wished she had brown eyes. I have inserted ardently. You have a doubt, kid? Yeah.
In the first sentence you said that God bless you, my child, and may you live. Then how it comes with the she blessed me? Because God is the actual one who bless. She said that God is the actual one who will bless you. So that means that she is not blessing us. Means she said that God is the actual one who blesses.
That's understood, isn't it? I mean, we apply a little bit of, I hate to say this, but common sense. God bless you. Yeah, so we always invoke the blessings of God upon someone. Are you meaning to say that we have to make this distinction between her blessing the child and God blessing the child? You wish to make that kind of a difference? Okay, I shall put the ball in your court. What will be your report of speech? What will be your report of speech?
She wished me that God will bless me.
She wished me that God would bless me. She wished that God would bless me. Does it convey the idea? That's why I said, remember what I said, understand the spirit of the sentence. Okay, understand the spirit. God bless you, no arembe. It's indirectly blessing her. We don't have to make a distinction between who is doing the blessing. Is it the God or is it the speaker? It is a sentiment that matters, because if you were to convert it, as he said, if you were to take every little bit of item into consideration, the sentence would become very flabby. It would lose its spirit.
So if the sentence is like that, she said to me, bless you, my child, may live long. So then the same will be, the report of speech will be the same. The sentence is that she said to me, God bless you, my child, may you live long.
Yeah.
So the report of speech is she blessed me and wished me for life.
Yeah.
So if the sentence is like that, means she said to me, bless you, my child, may you live long. The same will
Yeah, it will be virtually the same. It will be virtually the same. Because, I presume we are going by Indian culture. We assume that when people grow up in age and they grow older and sport grey hairs, they begin to reach closer and closer to Godhead. So, therefore, they have the, shall we say, the powers and the justification to bless. So, I guess that the meaning is conveyed, isn't it? Yes? We can't look into the nitty gritty and, Yeah, but I'm glad that you raised this point. The fundamental principle that you have to follow is that your answer has to sound English. It has to have the spirit of the idiom that is in currency of the time. Okay. Now, exercises. Maybe then I'll get you to think harder. Look at this. The hairstylist said to me, how old-fashioned you are. Look at all the options. The hairstylist exclaimed that I was old-fashioned. The hairstylist said that I was old-fashioned. The hairstylist expressed disgust and remarked that I was old-fashioned. The hairstylist expressed amusement and remarked that I was old-fashioned. The answer? The answer is A, but remember, none of these three answers are wrong. The other three answers are wrong. None of them are wrong. But we won't choose that. Why? That's why I said exclamation matters. How old-fashioned you are, it comes as an impulsive reaction. Right? So you can't say said that I was old-fashioned. That is too tame. Exclaimed that I was old-fashioned. Why would you say C and D are not to be preferred? We don't want C and D. What would be your reason? I have my reasons. I just want to check whether you have reasons to ignore C and D. What would be your reasons to not accept C and D as the appropriate answer? I won't say they are incorrect. They are correct, okay? Grammatically they are correct, but we wouldn't choose them. Why so? Because we don't know the actual feeling, whether it is disgust or amusement. So that would be over interpretation, so to say. So the safest option would be exclaimed. All right. So just be careful. Sometimes in your examination you may get grammatically correct options. All the 4 will be grammatically correct options. You will have to go by the spirit of the sentence. You have a doubt? Yeah.
The sentence is like that, then how old-fashioned you are. If we put a question mark instead of that exclamation mark,
The sentence would be incorrect.
how old-fashioned you are means she is showing a disgust to the other person. Like
No, grammatically, if it is a question mark, we'll have to change the word order. How old-fashioned are you? See that? In which case, I would have to calibrate my fashion and say, well, I'm, let us say, half a decade old-fashioned. I sport the fashion of the 1950s. I'm just giving an example. Yeah, so the word order will change. So do you agree that A is the most appropriate answer for this question? Get it? What I'm trying to underscore is the fact that sometimes all the 4 options may be correct, in which case you have to apply a little bit more of your intense thinking and logic, understand the spirit of the sentence and then make your choice. Okay, look at the next one. Yeah. Which one would you choose? The health minister said that doctors have confirmed 1 case of coronavirus infection. The health minister reiterated doctors' confirmation of 1 case of coronavirus infection. The health minister stated that doctors had confirmed that 1 person was infected with coronavirus. Quoting doctor statements, the health minister admitted that 1 person was infected with coronavirus. Your correct answer, so to say, would be C. But I want to tell you that neither A nor B nor D is wrong. Okay, I am imagining that you have several job options in front of you. If you were a reporter, let us say, if you were a journalist, perhaps you would not apply all your grammar rules and then write that sentence C in your newspaper article. Perhaps you would choose D because it is shorter, or maybe you will choose A because it makes more sense. You understand? Yes? So understand what is expected of you in your answer paper. Also understand what is expected of you when you are out there in life and dealing with people and talking to them. So that's a fine difference that you have to keep in mind. So the grammatically correct option would be C, although I would not say that A, B and D are wrong. All right, look at this one. Make your preference and tell me why you won't take the other options. The student said, I've been trying hard to crack this puzzle. Won't you please help me, teacher? I have been trying hard. What is the tense used there? Have been trying. Have, present, been, perfect, trying. So present perfect continuous. You apply those grammar rules, you're just checking whether it's right, and it has to become present perfect continuous, automatically becomes past perfect continuous. Look at all the verbs there. Had been trying, had been trying. C, B doesn't have had been trying, so we rule out B. Okay, now between A, C and D, you make your choice. The student said that he'd been working hard to crack this puzzle and asked the teacher whether she would help him. The teacher said that he had been trying hard to crack the puzzle and asked the teacher whether she might help him. The student said he had been trying hard to crack that puzzle and politely asked the teacher whether she would help him. Pardon? D. Your answer will be D. Okay. B is wrong, okay, grammatically wrong, but that does not mean A or C or D are wrong. They are right, but which is better? D. Now, why did you choose D? Politely. That is the most crucial word there. And what does politely take care of? In the direct speech, what does politely take care of? Please. please. So, take note of all the words that are used, because that gives you the spirit of the direct speech sentence, all right, and make your choice. Okay, next one. Yeah, look at this. How are you going to convert this? The doctor gasped, "Good grief! How did you get yourself, how did you hurt yourself so much?" Here you have to understand the real spirit in which the doctor has spoken. The doctor said, "Good grief." Does it look decent as the indirect speech specimen? Does it look decent? The doctor said, "Good grief." No, so we rule it out. The doctor expressed horror. Good grief, does it express horror? Let's wait. And asked the patient how he had hurt himself that much. The doctor expressed horror and wondered how the patient had hurt himself that much. The doctor expressed his grief and asked the patient how he hurt himself that much. What would be your answer? C. And it's almost as if rhetorical question ningal kettittundo. Rhetorical question means a question that does not actually demand an answer. It is a statement, but a statement which is put very pungently in the form of a question. Suppose you tell me a blatant lie. Vallathora nona ende edukka parayana. Okay, and I don't believe you at all. So rather than say I don't believe you at all, that's a very tame statement. I might ask you, am I a fool to believe what you say? I might ask you like that. Are you going to give me a reply? No, ma'am, I didn't imagine you were. Are you going to give me a reply? No, because my question was a rhetorical question, meaning although I frame it as a question, it's actually a statement. I'm not a fool to believe your tall tale. You get the point? In a similar fashion, although the doctor is seemingly asking a question, he is actually asking himself, he's simply wondering how the patient got hurt to such an extent. So just again, as I said earlier, understand the spirit. So that is it. We have come to the end of our work together, direct indirect speech. I haven't gone into the details because I presume you know, and taking you through all those tiny bits of tense forms might put you really to sleep. So I decided to be soft on you. Okay, if there are doubts, I can take them and I shall try to help you out. I think we have kept our time, but I can take questions from you if you have any queries regarding whatever I have. I don't say I've taught you, I've just helped you out with, just kind of removed cobwebs from your memory and tried to make you remember your old rules. Anything? Any questions? So I think we have come to the end of our session. Thank you very much.